what went on during the filming of Chronicles of Syntax and what the future is as well. So I'm going to bring some people on for you right now, and you're going to need to make some noise for me. The man who played Kyron Fisher, please give it up for Liam Dryden. One of our directors, Mr. Adam Hinking. The young lady who plays Simon Lovett, Miss Laura O'Donoghue. Man who plays Stephen Brownwell, Daniel Tyler Smith, ladies and gentlemen. The lady who sung all of this for me, aka the late Miss Victoria Hopkins. Her Australian accent is not fake, by the way. Those of you in touch. And the creator, our Lord and Master, Miss Susan E. Clark, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to hand you over to Sue, she's got some stuff to show you. Take it away, my darling.
Thank you very much, Dan, you're gorgeous. Hey guys, so who here has actually seen the series? How many of you? Have you seen it? Okay, cool. So, we are bringing to you nerdy, slightly cheesy, awesome British sci-fi. That's what we do, okay? So what I want to do for you right now is I want to show you a trailer that we had for episode 5, which is a little further along for those of you that haven't seen the whole series. It gives you an idea of kind of the world that we've created. Not just that, but an in-series sport Tycoon, which you might hear about a bit more later. So yeah, if you just want to play that for us, guys, that would be amazing. Just to give you a visual first, that would be great.
I can see you, man. Hi. The lights are really bright.
Yeah, press it. Press. Yay! No, he hasn't pressed it. Press it! One more time. Yay!
You want to save the world?
So yeah, that's coming straight to you from YouTube. So all 6 episodes are already out. You can watch the whole series now. Who in this audience wants to play Tycoon? Woo! Yeah,
Only like 5 people.
And basically, so the series has its whole universe inside this series. So it's not just sci-fi, it's not just characters and character related, but it also has its own in-series game and, you know, all the relationships that go along with that. We really tried very hard to bring you as much as we could with only 6 episodes, because we have 12 episodes at least to give you for what was originally season 1, so there's much, much more to come. So I'm really glad you're liking it so far. Dan, take the mic off, dude.
So, do we have some more stuff to show? Okay, cool. Well, shall we open the floor to a few questions about some stuff? Okay, so I'm going to come running out to you now and do a deft jump off the stage. Thank you very much. I have public liabilities insurance, all right. So, do you have any questions out here about season 1? Just put your hand in the air, whether it be for Liam or for... Oh, I'm going to come to you in a second.
What was your favourite episode to film?
Oh, this is not working.
It's the same to me.
I think we can take turns and then say yes. Everyone's going to have a different answer.
I didn't realize you all had a microphone. I thought like this was the only one.
Yeah, it's hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Cool. We should probably answer the question.
Yeah, okay. Oh god, my favourite was episode 5, I think, just because it was one of the last episodes we filmed, which meant we had all of our team on board, all of the cast was there, and we had a big ass party afterwards, so it's just made it even better.
epic bio army.
I love the bio army.
About 20 extras of different writers, which is so fun to do. So it's a group fight we did, so that was probably my favourite.
And Liam?
Mine might be, as I think I'm loud, sorry. Mine might be a toss-up between either episodes 4 or episode 6. Because episode 6 I did all in one room in one day, and that was great. But I think it was one of the most sort of challenging ones, like performance-wise for me, and I thought that was kind of good to kind of exercise that a little bit more. But episode 4, the first scene we ever shot as part of this team was one of the fight scenes outside the church in episode 4, which was a night shoot, and it went on all night, and it was lots of fun because everyone was getting slightly hysterical, slightly wet, really cold, but it was good to actually finally be doing this thing that we were doing. So it was just, everyone was just really kind of excited to kind of carry on and work on it for the rest of the 5-week block that it took to shoot the whole series.
Yeah, I mean that first day shoot was incredible. It sticks in your mind so much. Like the first day, there's other days throughout the whole sort of 6 weeks we did 5-6 weeks we did a filming that you kind of can't place, you can't remember them. Like the first day really stands out. And yeah, that was a wet and wild night.
And that was episode 4. So you were shooting at night outside in a church.
Yeah, that's
on the first day of shooting.
Yeah, I mean, that was just brilliant, and that was, as I say, with the first day of shoot, episode 4. My favourite filming was probably, though, and it surprised me more than anything, because it was some of my hardest stuff to act, emotionally and what have you, and that was episode 3, with Tara, who's somewhere over there. There she is.
Have her cast in the crowd, by the way.
Tara plays Heather, and that was brilliant, and episode 6 was also really another challenging thing, because we all had more emotional gravitas within our characters in that.
Victoria.
I can talk. Actually, I think every episode has been awesome for me. Personally, but I can't. No, this girl writes so bloody well. Do you know what I mean? Like, so every episode I think has a fuel the fire of the next one and the next one and the next one, and then bring on the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. That's all I can say. Visually, musically, the whole kind of coming together as a team. Episode 5 for me is pretty wicked, man. Do you know what I mean? I think it's got the energy, it's got the sweat, it's got the perspiration that all of us had for years to come. We finally released it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Fake Australian accent.
I don't know if that's really a fair question for me to ask, because I co-directed episode 2 and 6 with my brother Dan, but they're both very different. Episode 2 was majoritively in the container, wasn't it, for about 3 days. So we're shooting in a space not really much bigger than this stage for about 3 days, which was insane. And then episode 6 had so many different sections, different characters, so they're both very different.
Cool. I think we'll move on to the next question, which was over here. I will come back to you. Hang on. Look after my sunglasses. There we go. Hello, mate.
Are we allowed any hints about Chris Kendall's character?
That he is played by Chris Kendall.
Yes. Chris Kendall's actually in 3 episodes of season 1. Does anybody know where he is?
Hang on.
Voice of recording.
Sorry?
The voice of the
The modulation message, yeah. So he does both of those, and he does his character at the end. And you will love him, but that's as much as I can tell you, I'm afraid.
No one's allowed on the Kelly telly apart from Kelly.
Yay!
Sorry, let's get on.
Sorry, Kira.
What was that?
No one's allowed on the Kelly telly apart from Kelly.
Strongly agree.
So, this is really interesting for me as well, because writing the music, I basically just see everything afterwards. So I just get edits that are locked. So this is really interesting for me as well, to see about, I know certain things about that, about filming and what was going on set. This is fascinating. So thank you guys. Right, next question. Yes, down here. Yes, hello.
What was the hardest part of filming for Chronicles of Syntax?
Nice. Where do you want to start?
The time constraints. Basically, do you want? Okay. Basically, because of the broadcasting deadlines, obviously our series was coming out every 2 weeks. We had to film that kind of pressure?
Yeah, it's mad because there were 5 directors, 3 DOPs, and there were 6 episodes. So we were shooting location by location. So you'd shoot something in the morning with one director from episode 6, and then later that afternoon, the actors would have to change costume, flip around, switch directors, switch DOP, and then shoot something from 3 episodes earlier. So having to hold all of that in your head on top of kind of lines and learning shots and stuff that was like the biggest challenge.
It was a challenge, but also it makes you a better actor. The whole process because of this, we've all learned from it, we've all developed. I mean, for a lot of us fighters, the fight work, I mean, me and Dan had to do a lot of work on our sword fights, but we'd have to do it in between the times of actual filming, so you get your break and the training in between the breaks, pretty much. But you know, it may be hard, it may be difficult, but it was the best experience of having most of our lives, and everything which was difficult only made us better for the future. So.
Totally, I mean, exactly what Laura said. I think every single person in this cast and crew has just learned so much in this whole process that next time for season 2 we're going to smash it. So yeah, so it was brilliant. I mean, the hardest things, I mean, like the fighting, me and Laura, as she said, had to do a lot of fighting. The sword fight, not sure if I should say, but we actually filmed that whole sword fight one day, but then we changed it and had to do the whole sword fight again. So that was interesting. ADR, as a lot of you know, was a very, that was the most challenging thing for me, but the fact that I had to pretty much ADR re-record all my lines for the entire series over again. And again, that was a mistake that we now learned from, because we're going to sort out the sound issues and there's going to be some...
I'll clarify that a bit more as to what actually happened there, because there's loads of little rumours going around, and when everything got delivered and went into what we call post-production, I don't know how many of you know a lot about producing and making the finished product, but basically we discovered that half of the well, not half, all of the audio that was recorded on site had been lost. So Susan and Chris had somehow managed to enlist the help of 6 sound designers who all signed up for 1 episode each. And they were just supposed to do the sound effects and the sounds of swords, the sounds of guns, and the sounds of running feet and all that kind of stuff. And they ended up having to re-record every single line. So that's all the actors thought they'd finished and they'd done everything, and then they all had to go and stand in a dark studio with these slightly strange people called sound designers. Trust me, they are strange, not quite as strange as composers, and re-record everything whilst looking at the picture and try and make it sync to the voice. And then the sound designers then not only have to record it, they then have to put it into and make it sound like it's in the environment in which it's been set. So time constraints again. There were some limits on that, and that was a huge undertaking in post that all of the actors and sound designers and all the sound people, everybody was just a bit mind-blowing. So well done guys for going back in and getting this tired to work.
Thank you.
Yeah, ADR is a very difficult skill to kind of learn. You're trying to recreate your emotion and your feeling from back 2 months ago, say, on that day of how you were feeling and how you were going to project it. And trying to get that moment back when you're in front of the camera is a difficult thing to do, but it's a skill which I think we've all learned now, and actually, yeah, just about. And you know, it's an invaluable skill for everyone to learn. I don't think there's any Hollywood actors who would ADR the whole feature film. So
ADR stands for additional dialogue on board.
Hey Dan, I think what I want to say first, because I'm the nervous one of this lot, because I'm the producer, is just with time constraints for this as well. I'd like to get the scene on just to show, but I just want to say to you guys, we have an amazing fight choreographer, Ronan Trainer, who is in the audience right here.
Make some noise for Ronan.
And thanks to him, all our actors were able to physically do their own fighting. Every single section of it is, we don't have anybody come in and double up as them. It's a genuine thing. And that's something I'm very proud of, because being a fan of sort of Japanese series and things like that, I'm always really bummed out when somebody gets swapped for somebody that looks nothing like them. But yeah, so that's in this scene as well. So I just wanted to say that before you saw it, so you knew exactly what you were looking at. So if you show that scene for us, please.
mobile.
Is it possible? I suppose so. If there's one thing this world has an abundance of, it's dead bodies. With the right stimulation, the right technology, backward science, I would say it was completely possible. In fact, I wonder why no one has thought of it before. What? Well, it would certainly spare the pain of sending our troops off to war. We could successfully invade without. Actually, now that I really think about it, if the bioarmy exists to serve only one person, then the potential could be catastrophic.
Depending on who that one person was.
What do you mean?
Well, if it were me, I would have the zombies constantly performing an endless and unrelenting rendition of the musical Red, just for my own amusement. And I think that'd be much less of a travesty than trying to, I don't know, end the world.
No, that's equally as scary.
Whatever, you get my point, right? I mean, it seems like the best way Theo's group to spend their time is figuring out who's trying to control them.
Yeah, we shouldn't be speculating on how they're going to spend their time. What I'd like to know is what I'm going to tell the reporters about Tristan. My father's going to be really disappointed in me.
Look on the bright side, he never comes to see you, so you'll never know. Oh, that's my writing arm. I've got to use that later. I keep a diary.
Moving swiftly on, I don't see why we can't just, go back and force Tristan to come to HQ.
It's called human rights. Besides, she's got no reason to trust us.
I guess we could always, I don't know, figure out the bioarmy problem. That'd give her a reason.
How can we? We've never even seen one. It's like they're trained to avoid our every move, like super mutant zombie spiders.
Cyan, I get the feeling that isn't the case anymore.
That'd be an awesome TV series. I'd watch it.
Guys, look!
Oh god, okay, if this were actually a series, I'd probably be hiding behind the sofa right about now.
Okay, we're outnumbered. Stay calm.
Okay, in what universe does that sentence actually work?
What are they waiting for? Why don't they attack?
Because I'm trained so bloody hard, that's why.
No. It's like they're possessed or something. Waiting.
What for?
Orders?
Your observations suggest an internal relay of some sort. Interesting.
What?
Telepathy.
No, guys, I've only had like 2 days in the press class. I'm not ready for this.
It's okay. Stay between us. If it gets tight, call the shots.
What?
Eyes in the back of the head?
Yeah?
That's you.
The whole circle is closing in. Go like a spine away.
I can see your kite.
Spin! What? Like the merry-go-round, move!
We've got to teach you proper words.
It's not the time for friends! Stop! If I get in, promise you'll kill me!
They're not zombies. If you don't do your job, I'll kill them right now.
What the?
My sword is stuck in his stomach. Cyan.
I've got problems of my own. It's like hitting stone.
The sword that's stuck in his belly! He's climbing up the sword!
I can see that.
I know, but who does that? He's the next!
I'd just like to say, guys, the hardest thing about this process has been the wait and the anticipation, actually seeing that there now is beautiful, that's what I want to say. We can talk to you technically about issues that happen, but the thing that has been the most beautiful flip turn is that you guys have supported us. You know what I mean? That has been the one thing in our hearts as this close family is that here now, London 2030, we're at Chronicles. Now that is bloody amazing. Do you know what I mean? That is awesome. And the hard work is now yet to come as well. We want this to stay. We want the domination, to go through. Do you know what I mean? It is.
Vic always wants domination.
That's domination. But I just want to say thank you, massive thank you from all of us here. Do you know what I mean? This family that we are. We're out there doing it hard like everyone. So that's it. That's that simple.
Yeah, from all of us, of course, thank you, every one of you guys. Thank you.
Is that the 25 minutes?
No, how long have we got? We've
die really fast.
Yeah. One thing I should point out as well, that particular scene was directed by, very good, Mr. King over there.
And Dan singing it as well.
Oh yeah, where is it? There he is. Hey! Hello!
The question is, in Series 2, will we see a development in the relationship between Kai and Dana?
That all depends on the writing.
Spoiler alert!
The thing about Kai is he's kind of oblivious to a lot of most human interaction. And that especially comes in relation to relationships. I think like one of the things I was sort of taught about him in terms of when I was learning about the character is that it takes a long while for him to kind of grasp the fact that there is someone clamoring for his affection because it's not something he's used to because he's such a dope. So I mean, I'd like to think that there's going to be more development there, and they're just going to make out, but not for any filming purposes. Just the fact that, just for character purposes, I'm a professional. God. But I don't know. I mean, I think that there are a lot of people who are willing for that to happen, and I think that they might get what's coming to them. In the future.
I don't think you guys will be disappointed, but I think you'll be glad that it's going to be a bit more complex than perhaps you would normally find in sci-fi series. Because there's certainly enough obstacles for our characters just in every day-to-day life. So romantic connections is something on top of that, and when you're as clueless as a character like Kai, that just adds crazy dynamics to a situation that should have perhaps been a bit simpler. So yeah, I think the answer you're looking for is yes, but stick with it. I think you'll enjoy what's to come.
The really nice thing, are you talking about that scene at the end of episode 6 when they're talking to each other on the earpiece? Yeah. The really nice thing about that scene is that we shot that kind of 2 days apart from each other, and they weren't actually in the same room. So when we cut it together, I think Liam and Rachel, who plays Dana, they both kind of found something natural that, even though they weren't actually talking to each other at the time, when it cut together, they both kind of had the same tone, which is really nice. And I don't think we'd actually seen that from your character before.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Rachel, we've been working on this series for 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years. And my first audition was with Rachel. We did a scene from a very old script that basically kind of exemplified that sort of tense feel, those sort of emotions between each other, like the two characters. And I think since we worked together, that was the first time we met, so it was the first time we kind of worked on that together, and I think we both kind of felt this kind of cool chemistry between the two characters. And Rachel's awesome, she's a really great actress, and she's just been a lot of fun on set and things, like the time that we have had a chance to work together. And I do think that we do have the sort of character mindset when we're thinking about each other. I think about how Kai feels about Dee, mostly guilt. It's just a case of sort of channeling that. Just even if I'm not directly speaking to Rachel while filming, it's just it's good to sort of employ that mindset, and it makes it a whole lot easier and more convincing.
We're quite lucky that these guys actually get on. When we say Cod's family, we don't just mean you guys, we mean us as well. We've been together for so long now that, coming on set with each other and having those kind of character dynamics, they kind of just fall into place, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. So we've been exceptionally lucky in our cast, definitely.
That's definitely true. That's true. It's so true. We all get on so well. Some of the people in this cast and crew are some of my best friends. Everybody is close friends, and I see them. We go around each other's houses all the time. We socialise all the time when we're not Chronicles or Chronicles.
We couldn't even come here by ourselves. There's the rest of our cast that sat right there.
Okay, we've got time to squeeze in one more little one. So, does anybody have...
Make it a good one.
Yeah. No? Okay, well, you know what I'm going to ask?
Okay.
Okay, so, Season 1, Indiegogo. Everybody who's here, obviously, has watched Chronicles. They're interested in what's going on with it. What can you tell us about season 2, and where is it in production, in pre-production, how far along, etc.?
Okay, well some of you will know that the series it was going to be a TV series, then it went to audio, and now it's a web series. And the audio series was created, the whole 12 episodes are done, so the second season of Chronicles is actually written, it's already ready and prepped, ready to go. We're in a miniature holding pattern at the moment with our broadcasters and their own stuff, but what we do promise is, and we have always promised, we will be bringing you Chronicles of Syntax. Come hell or high water, you will have season 2. I don't care if it kills me.
Oh yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Please give it up for the panel. Thank you. Absolutely right. That was Chronicles of Syntax. Thank you very much.
See you at the panel.